This is Jarrod Horak for today's RacingDigest.com and my Today's Racing Digest Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks 2020 points races continues. We keep on looking at these big points races, and then we're going to look at the San Felipe Stakes for Saturday, March 7th in this video, and then we're going to jump over to Sunday, March 8th, and we're going to look at the Santa Ysabel Stakes for Kentucky Oaks fillies. Now let's jump back and look at last week's, recapping last week's races. The Donna Veloce Stakes at Gulfstream Park on February 29th. Tonalist Shape got the job done there. Was able to win over Spice is Nice. Now Spice is Nice was my top choice. I was expecting her to move forward. I thought she had a bit more upside than Tonalist Shape, but Tonalist Shape was one that had the experience. So it was potential versus experience really, and experience won the day here. But I think in the future, I would think that Spice is Nice is going to be able to turn the tables on Tonalist Shape in distance races. If they meet again in the Gulfstream Park Oaks, I would think that Spice is Nice is probably going to turn the tables on her. But in this race, Tonalist Shape, it was a good ride. She was hustled out of the gate from the outside post. Tyler Gaffalione was the rider, and I think that was the key. He was able to just get her right over to the rail from the outside post, take the lead, and then Spice is Nice with only one career start. She was in between horses, battling up on the pace. And the key was Tonalist Shape, that early move, and then was able to have separation and pull away up in the stretch as well and open up by a couple lengths. But Spice is Nice never gave up, kept grinding away and coming at that one, and just couldn't quite beat her though. Tonalist Shape won by a length and a quarter, but they both ran well. Now Tonalist Shape is now 5 for 5, and I said she probably needed to run her best career race to beat Spice is Nice, and she did that. She did. Her speed figure improved. That was her best career effort. She really ran well in this spot. She really needed to, and she did. Now, as I said, as they get into distance races, I think it's going to be a different story. I think Spice is Nice now has that stakes experience, ran well throughout in this race. It looks like she probably is going to leap forward next time, and Tonalist Shape now doesn't have all that experience edge on her anymore. And so if they do meet again, I'm gonna certainly really consider Spice is Nice in the Gulfstream Park Oaks if they face each other in that race. Now the Fountain of Youth Stakes was a Grade 2 at Gulfstream Park on February 29th, a Kentucky Derby points race. So the Oaks points race was the Devona Dale, and then the Fountain of Youth was won by Ete Indian, and he picked up 50 Kentucky Derby points, and he's in the Derby now basically. That was a win and you're in. And the same with Tonalist Shape. She picked up 50 points, and she's in the Oaks if they want to go there. But Ete Indian looked good in this race. This was an odd race, though. It was a race where we had a 12-horse field. We had Chancet in there out in post 12. He's scratched. He's running in the Tampa Bay Derby this week. You had Dennis's Moment coming off the layoff. He was one. He just did not show up at all in this race. He never got involved. He was your big favorite. So we had a main contender scratch. We had the favorite not show up. There were other horses with speed that just didn't show speed, and Ete Indian was just ran them off their feet. He just went right out of there from the outside post, took this race over, and just ran away with it. It was an easy win, but you got to be cautious about these kind of races. The same thing happened in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where you had 8 Rings didn't run well. He was one of the favorites, and Dennis's Moment stumbled at the start. And a lot of times when the favorites, horses that are expected to perform well and are going to affect the pace outcome, don't run well, stranger things can happen, and you can see some blowout wins and some horses that typically don't look good on paper win. Ete Indian was a solid contender, and he was 3-1. He paid $860. But you weren't expecting him to win by 8 lengths. I don't think that he is 8 lengths better than all of these horses necessarily. It was the perfect storm of events that allowed him to just roll to an easy win. He was drifting out in the stretch pretty wide. That could be a sign that he doesn't want to run much further. And my thinking on this horse is something like that, that I don't think that he wants to go much further than 1 1/16. And if he does get 1 1/8, he's going to be getting tired at the end. I don't think he's really 1 1/4 horse. He's a horse, though, that if he can get into the Kentucky Derby, and he certainly has the points, he could really affect the pace because he has a lot of speed, and he just knows one way to go, and that's just to roll early. Now, he did flatter Tiz the Law, and Tiz the Law beat him pretty easily in the Holy Bull Stakes at 1 1/16, and he flattered that one romping in this race. Now, there was a real battle for second. It was a 4-way battle for second. Candy Tycoon for Todd Pletcher got second over As Seen on TV, Shotski, and Country Grammar. They were all just bunched right up on the wire behind the runaway winner. Dennis's Moment ended up last. He just did not fire at all. Now, he wasn't training well, but this was not a strong field. There was no excuse for him to run last. If he could have just stalked the pace and even finished second behind Ete Indian, that would have been something. No reason for why he should have run this poorly, but looking back at his 2-year-old races, he did win at Ellis Park by 19 lengths. His maiden win was at 7 furlongs, and then he won the Iroquois Stakes, and that race hasn't come back fast. And then his other 2 races, he had some trouble at the start, but he didn't have trouble at the start this time. He was in a decent position. He was just empty. Don't know what the deal was. Maybe he hasn't improved from age 2 to 3, but if you like Dennis's Moment, he doesn't look like a strong Derby contender for sure at this point. But let's now look at the 2 races this week. Saturday, March 7th, Santa Anita Park Race 8, the Grade 2 San Felipe Stakes, 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. This is part of the Big Cap Day card. Multiple stakes races at Santa Anita Park Big Cap Day, including this Grade 2 San Felipe. And if you're interested in the complete digest, you probably want your complete digest, a 12 race card at Santa Anita with some good field sizes. We've been seeing that the field sizes haven't been great. They've only been running 8 races during the week and even Sundays, but excellent card for Saturday, March 7th. 12 races, multiple stakes races, some good betting opportunities, and you'll probably want that complete digest. So go over there, you're going to get your analysis, speed figures like the fast figs, the CPR, the comprehensive performance rating, takes into account pace, final time, and closing fraction. All the good Today's Racing Digest speed figures that are exclusive to that site will be available in that complete digest, and with analysis and workout information and much, much more. So if you're interested in that, head over to todaysracingdigest.com and get that complete digest for Big Cap Day. Now, in the San Felipe, we're going to look at the fast figs, and we're going to pull them up first. And the fast figs in this race, 1,000 words. He's got a 129 fast fig. He's got the best fast fig in the race. And the fast fig is a class speed number all rolled into one. So 1,000 words, it makes sense that he would be your leader. He's won a couple stakes races. So he's got class. He's 3 for 3. He's undefeated. And Authentic, his stablemate, is just a point behind him with a 128. And then Storm the Court, your Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner. He ended up finishing 4th in the San Felipe in his return. He's got a 127. But he's going to have to run better because for Storm the Court, that Breeders' Cup Juvenile, pretty fluky race with the weird stuff happening to Dennis's Moment, and then 8 Rings didn't show up, and then bombs away in that race, and then he wasn't any match for Nadal last time, finishing an okay 4th. He should improve, but he's going to have to improve to beat a field like this. These Baffert runners look good, and then Honor AP looks good as well. But for the fast figs, $3 a card. You can do the special that they have at Today's Racing Digest of $39 for 30 days for unlimited downloads. The fast figs have been a very profitable number for Today's Racing Digest. If you want to learn more about the fast figs, look at the description in this video. I have links to several articles talking more about the fast figs, and so you can learn more about them. But now let's look at the top 3 contenders in this race. I think it is a 3-horse race. It comes down to 1,000 words, Honor AP, and Authentic. Now, Authentic is your 6-5 morning line favorite. He's 2 for 2, and he just rolled to an easy win in the Sham Stakes. And he was very green in the stretch. He was wandering all over the place. He almost went over the rail. He was just lost focus in the stretch, but that was only his second start. He's going to have to be more professional in this race. He was able to win that one easily, but this is a deeper field. There are some quality horses with strong pedigrees and good connections in this race, and he's going to be tested throughout. There's some other horses with speed like Storm the Court and Honor AP. So Authentic last time controlled the pace in the Sham, and we'll see what he can do here. I'm not sure how far he wants to go even. We don't know if he's just a miler or he wants to run further, and then that's kind of what we are trying to find out on the Derby Trail all along anyway. Are these horses really going to be sprinters, turf horses? Are they going to be able to be classic distance horses? We're going to find all that out as we continue to go on the trail. But now the next step from 1 mile to 1 mile and a 16th for Authentic, and we'll find out how good he is. Now the 2 Honor AP, he's one that's always been on my Kentucky Derby list for quite some time. And actually all 3 of these runners are on it. 1,000 Words, Honor AP, and Authentic. And if you want to read my Kentucky Derby 2020 blogs, Go over to todaysracingdigest.com. You can read those there. I update the Derby blogs each and every week. But Honor AP is the one I'm talking about here, and he's 4-1. And he was second in his debut at 6 furlongs. And then they stretched him out to a mile, and he really seemed to appreciate that extra distance for trainer John Sheriff's. Rode to a big win, earned a nice speed figure, and it looked like he was headed to the stakes ranks after that win, and he was supposed to run in the Sham Stakes. But he had some foot issues. He ended up missing the Sham, missed a couple works, and then he got back on the work tab, and he's been working steadily now since January 20th. So he had that setback. They paid $850,000 for him. He could easily be this good, but he did have the setback. They wanted to run him in a race prior to this. So he's kind of like Authentic. We know he's got a lot of raw ability and speed, and we're going to find out how good he is. I'm going to go with 1,000 words. I can't go against this one. He's very high up on my Derby list. He's ranked number 2. I've had him up pretty high on my list behind Gouverneur Morris for quite some time, and he could easily be the number 1 contender if he continues to win. And he certainly has a nose for the wire. Now, he's 9-5 morning line. He's 3 for 3. As I said, he's got that will to win. He battles hard throughout. He battled hard in his maiden win, and then in the Los Al Futurity, second time out, he fought hard. A New Door he faced that day. That one came at him. He showed speed. He fought that one off and won. And then last time he did it again in the Robert Lewis Stakes. This time he was behind horses inside, taking dirt in his face, and he was able to come up and battle hard and hold off the closers there to win that one. So he's shown some running style versatility, a very tenacious horse. They paid $1 million for him. So this Baffert trainee has a lot of potential. He's going to have to run faster, and he didn't run really fast in the Robert Lewis, but he just seems to be the kind of horse that just grinds away and does what he has to do and keeps on winning, and that bodes well at getting into longer distances. You want to see a horse able to look like they can stay, and he certainly seems to be the horse that can stay a distance. And this race sets up for him, I think. There's multiple speed horses. I mentioned Honor AP and Authentic and Storm the Court. The pace should be honest. 1,000 words should set the right trip. He shouldn't have any excuses. He should be ready to run speed figure-wise, probably his best career speed figure. And I think he looks like a very solid threat in the San Felipe. So 1,000 words will be my top choice in the San Felipe. For Sunday, March 8th, let's look at the Santa Ysabel Stakes, Kentucky Oaks points race. It's basically a win and you're in, 50 points to the winner. This is a grade 3 at 1 mile and a 16th. And I think there's a lot of pace in this race, and I don't think they're going to beat Donna Veloce. She's been my Kentucky Oaks 2020 number 1 ranked contender for a while now, and you can read my Kentucky Oaks 2020 blogs, just like my Derby blogs, at todaysracingdigest.com. But Donna Veloce, just look, she dominates the paper race. She improved her numbers in all 3 of her starts as a 2-year-old filly. She easily won her debut at 6.5 furlongs, and then she jumped from 6.5 furlong maiden race right into the grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies, and in that race she ended up a good second. She just missed there, a quality race that she ran there, and then she followed that up with a second to Bast in the Starlet Stakes. So she's one that run well every time, and I think she was a bit behind the 8 ball as a 2-year-old. As I said, that 6.5 furlong maiden win, they wanted to throw her into the Breeders' Cup, and then they ran her in the Starlet, and she did not disgrace herself at all. But like I said, she was behind in the Juvenile, she giving away a lot of experience, and she ran well. And then in the Starlet, another quality race there on a wet track. And she did accomplish a lot from late September to early December last year. And then Simon Callahan gave her the rest of the year off, and she just looks faster and classier than these horses. As I said, she's been my top-ranked Oaks filly. I'm expecting a lot from her, and if she really is an Oaks contender, she should not have any problem beating this field. She can go to the lead if they want. She's versatile. They can sit behind the pace. I'd like to see her sit in this race. There's some other speed. Let the overmatched speed horses go, save ground, and Flavien Prat can just hopefully roll home to an easy win. It certainly looks like that on paper. And I'm going to go with the 5. Gingham is my second choice for Bob Baffert. And she does look second best based on her running style. She likes to rally from off the pace. We have a lot of horses in here, not sure where they fit class-wise, that have speed. And I think you're going to see an honest pace, and you're going to see Donna Veloce get the first run and win easily, and then Gingham pass the tired speed horses and get up for second. And that's exactly how I'm going to play this one. So for my wagering strategy, for the Santa Anita Race 7 for Sunday, March 8th. Just a one-way exacta. Number 1, Donna Veloce over number 5, Gingham. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in the San Felipe, the Santa Ysabel, and some of the other Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks points races for Saturday, March 7th? Or just talk about any Kentucky Oaks or Kentucky Derby contender that you like, and we'll get into a nice discussion on that. I try to answer as many comments as possible. And that'll wrap up this digest video. Again, if you want that complete digest for Big Cap Day, head over to todaysracingdigest.com to get that, or if you want the fast figs, jump over and do that as well. And that will wrap up this video. I'll be back next week, and I'm going to be looking at some more Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby points races.